This is the Illinois-Indiana border. It's just a line on a map, but people treat it like a cheat code. On one side, you were told the taxes are brutal and everyone's leaving. And on the other side, you're told that you get more house, lower bills, and better schools. But I want to find out how much of that is actually true, and what really changes when you cross this line. I want to start with a fictional couple, a couple that I put together out of real conversations that I have all the time with the people that I help in my business. Let's just call them Marcus and Jenna. They live in the south suburbs of Illinois. They have one kid in elementary school. They both work somewhere in the orbit of Chicago. Their mortgage payment feels tight. Their property taxes keep going up, and they keep hearing the same suggestions from friends and coworkers. You should just move to Indiana. Marcus and Jenna are not unique. There are a lot of people around Chicagoland quietly asking the same question. If I cross this line, do I actually get a better life, or am I just trading one set of problems for another? If you zoom out, this whole area is one big metro. Chicago, the south suburbs, and northwest Indiana. People live on one side, work on the other, go to the same beaches, shop at the same stores, cheer for the same sports teams, and complain about the same traffic. But legally and financially, the second you cross this border, the rule book changes. Property taxes work differently, school funding is set up differently, income tax, sales tax, and even some business rules change at that line. And those differences are exactly what Marcus and Jenna are trying to figure out. Let's start with the big one people talk about the most, which is property taxes. Illinois has a reputation for high property taxes. That reputation did not come out of nowhere. If you own a pretty normal middle-class home in many Illinois suburbs, it is completely normal to see thousands of dollars more per year in property taxes than a similar house right over the border in Indiana. For a lot of families, that is hundreds of dollars a month in total payments. I am not giving you exact numbers for every town because it varies, but in real life I see situations where the tax difference between two similar houses can easily be $200, $300, sometimes $400 a month. Indiana, on the other hand, has lower property taxes on average, and it also has something called caps. In simple terms, the state limits how high your property tax bill can go as a percentage of your home's value. If it goes over that, you get a credit. So when people say taxes are way better in Indiana, there is some real math behind it. But property tax is not the whole story. There's also income tax and sales tax, and they work a little differently on each side of that border. In Illinois, there is one flat state income tax rate. In Indiana, the state income tax rate is lower, but most counties add their own local income tax on top. Then you have sales tax. Around Chicago and many Illinois suburbs, the total sales tax on everyday stuff can be really high compared to Indiana, where the rate tends to be simpler and lower on big purchases. So if you have big purchases like cars, appliances, furniture, that difference in sales tax can really matter. It is another little way that this border sneaks into everyday life. Then there is the price of the house itself. It is not universal, but in a lot of northwest Indiana towns, you can still find homes that are noticeably cheaper than some Illinois suburbs that are the same distance from downtown Chicago. Think newer construction, more land, or just a lower purchase price. So there may be some truth to the idea that you get more house for your money in Indiana. The real question for Marcus and Jenna is, are they just getting more house, or are they giving something up that they care about just as much? A big reason property taxes are high in Illinois is how schools are funded. Illinois leans heavily on local property taxes to pay for K through 12 schools. That means if you want well-funded schools, smaller class sizes, certain programs, a lot of that money has to come from homeowners. In Indiana, those property tax caps help keep tax bills lower, but they also limit how much money local governments and school districts can pull from property taxes. The state will send money to try to balance things out, but some districts manage better than others. This is not just a math problem, it is a school problem. The real question becomes, if we move, are we getting schools we feel good about, or are we trading lower taxes for something our kid is going to feel every single day? The next trade-off is not about money at all, it's about time. When you move further into Indiana to chase lower prices and lower taxes, your commute to jobs in Illinois can get longer. More miles, more tolls, more gas, and more time sitting in traffic on 8094. For Marcus and Jenna, the difference might be 20 to 30 extra minutes each way, depending on where they end up. That is a lot of time just spent in the car. So now the decision is not just Illinois versus Indiana, it's really about money versus time. Some people would happily trade the extra commute for the savings in the bigger house, and others would rather have a smaller place and keep their evenings and weekends. There is one more layer to this, and it's hard to measure, and that's the overall vibe. Illinois and Indiana tend to make different choices on taxes, regulations, social issues, and where government money goes. Some people cross the border because the rules and the politics in one state line up more with their values. Others barely think about it and only look at the numbers. What matters is this invisible line controls which set of rules you live under and whether you think about it or not. So let's come back to the original question. Why do people treat the Illinois-Indiana border like a life hack? Because in a lot of ways, it kind of is. Your property taxes, your monthly payment, your shopping bills, your school funding rules, and your state politics can all shift the moment you cross that line. But here's what the border doesn't change. You are still in the same region. You're still connected to the same job. You get the same winter, the same storms, highway backups, and a lot of the same culture. Crossing the border does not magically fix everything. It just trades one set of trade-offs for another. If you live near this border, I would like to hear from you. Have you ever thought about moving on the other side? And did you actually do it? And what changed for you and what stayed the same? Drop your story in the comments, because the real answers to these questions come from people that are living it every single day. And if you want more deep dives like this, affordability, or what it's actually like to live around the Chicagoland area, hit subscribe before you go.